Welcome to Let's Start With That. I'm Jill. In this episode, we're going to make a cut-off tool with a carbide insert. Now, I've made this prototype last year. It's been a full year already, and I wanted to test how it works. Well, guess what? It works just fine. So now it's time to do the real thing, and I thought I'd take you along for the ride. Let's go. All right, continuing on the journey of making a couple cut-off tools. And I'm making both out of this piece of round stock. This is 2-inch Pre-Hardened 4140. So I'm gonna square this up, and then I'll need to cut this in half using a Niagara 1/2-inch carbide end mill. Those things are absolutely fantastic, and it's gonna make easy work of this 4140, even pre-hardened. Got a nice square face down one side, so I'm going to put that at the in my vise, and I'll be able to square everything out. Now, by the time I'm all done here, I should have a nice square piece that's about 1.25 inches all the way around. Back at the bench, and now that I've got my two pieces, or my one piece, cut in half, I guess I can continue machining through these. So now what I need to do is mill these to the correct thickness, and then carry on with the multitude of features that are part of this design. Hey, here's a quick tip. If you're new to this machining stuff, but you've already got the whole trick of putting parallels to support your material, one of the nifty ways of holding the parallels while you put everything in place is to use a great big spring. While you do that, you can put your part in place and not have to worry about needing 3 hands to do it all. I finally have my parts to dimension, and just FYI, I've given myself an extra 10 thousandths in every direction because when I'm done configuring these things or milling it, I'm going to put them on the surface grinder. So I just want to have myself a little bit extra material in order to get that done. Last year when I had made this prototype here, I only had 1/2-inch end mills to carve this out, so it doesn't look very pretty, of course. So I ended up making my own end mill. This is a 1-inch or just slightly under, and using inserts. And it does a really nice job. The surface finish is about, it's like mirror-like. But I'm going to be using this tool in order to mill in and down all the way to the appropriate depth. So just tidbit, you can be a beginner and still make your own tools and make it work. I will eventually have a video on how to make one. All set up at the mill and about to start, but it's important to take into account the measurements that you're going to be working with here. We've got a piece that's a 1/2 inch high, right? And we want that little blade to be a 1/16 of an inch. So the remaining is 437 thousandths of an inch. So that's how deep we're gonna go. And so I'm gonna touch off, set a 0 on the digital readout so that I don't go past that that depth, right? I want to maintain an appropriate thickness, because that's the strength that's going to hold that little cut-off blade. If you're a newbie, don't forget to put your measurements somewhere so that they're easy to see. On top of your vise is a perfect spot for it. Remember, if you can avoid it, no climb milling. So in this case, even though I want it to go in this way, wouldn't be a good idea. So I'm going in this way, and I'll finish that up afterwards. I'm going to start with, say, 15 thousandths of an inch. Now I'm gonna bring in nice and close to have a look at that finish. It's absolutely stunning. So let's have a look at that. Look at that, it's mirror-like. Honestly, I couldn't think of a way to get better finish. It's like a mirror. All right, so let's carry on. Too shabby for homemade end mill. Not sure if you remember, but I'm making 2 of these things. So I just put a stop on my vise so that everything's repeatable. I'm gonna read the other one, put it in, repeat the process. Now that the semicircles are milled out, it is time to do something else. And what I've chosen to do is to mill this slot here, which will allow the insert to sit in to this thing, so, or to the tool. And you see this little ridge here, right? Now, from on this side to this side, it's 3.5 millimeters wide. The little ridge itself is 0.25 millimeters deep, or it extends above the surface on both bottom and top. So the second operation will be a 4 millimeter end mill going this way, and then repeat that operation on this side in order to create that little ridge, which you can now see a whole lot better. So let's get set up for that. There's the moment of truth right here. So I've got my ER11 collet with the chuck for it in my R8 collet. I've set up system just to blow the chip from the tip of that end mill, a 3.5 millimeter end mill, and I've got to go a distance of 14.5 millimeters. So if you look at the line here, my little chicken scratches, my idiot marks, I don't want to go past that. 600 millimeters is as far as I went with that large end mill. setup with a 4mm end mill. When you do something like this, it's really important to triple check everything, okay? So, I've got my 4mm end mill in there, and on my DRO, I've plunged in 0.415. And I'm just looking at this here, and it looks like I'm about at the correct depth, right? So good enough for me. It is time to go, and I'm going to go 14, I'm going to go length of 14.5mm. Okay, well, I'm going to bring you in nice and close, for I won't be able to do that with this here. Let me do it with my phone. And there you go. We see a beautiful little ridge created by these little end mills. So now I'm going to flip this around, recalculate, and do it again. Alright, now I've flipped the part over, redid all the measurements, etc. And it's time to cut the other side of the blade to create that ridge. Here it comes. There we have it. Hopefully you can see that. It looks pretty good, actually. So I've milled the grooves. I went to the bench grinder and just made this 45-degree angle there, and that's for chip evacuation. So just checking if my little insert will work. And it does. I'm doing this, trying to do it over the camera here. There you go. So it doesn't have to be super sturdy going in this way, right? There's enough downward pressure to hold this bit in there. So now what I need to do is mill down the top and bottom in order to bring it to a 1/2 inch so that it can fit in my quick change tool post, and then we'll give it a whirl. Should be fine. Okay, I've got the rudimentary cutoff tool done. The inserts fit in very nicely. So let's put them in here, see if they fit. Yeah, not a problem at all. So that'll be nice. I guess the only thing that is left to be done is finish them up. on the surface grinder. Well, they're all finished. Surface ground all around and everything else. I guess the only thing that's left is to try it out. Let's check it out. Well, my friends, the tool is in. We've got a piece of 1018 round stock in here. It's 1 inch. The question always is, well, yeah, but what can you actually cut a 1 inch piece? Well, we'll find out this time around. I've got my automatic cross feed on. It's on fairly slow and I've got the back gears on. So we're gonna give this thing a try. Let's see what happens. Chips are looking good. So good. Let's see what happens. Good looking chips though. Still producing good chips, and we're about 2/3 of the way in. And there we are. The machine here, and let's have a look at the diameter of this thing. Okay, so here's something that you can notice. This is a 1 inch piece of round stock, and we still have a fair ways to go. We could cut something bigger. So that's a nice success. Mark Winquist, challenge was accepted, and I have produced. Balls in your court, buddy. Okay, well, first, the other thing that I notice is that we've got a nice clean surface. The cut, I mean, this is as smooth as gets. I'm extremely pleased with this thing. For just a tiny little insert, I mean, you can't beat it. They're cheap. The tool is really sturdy, and I'm sure it contributes to this beautiful finish. Now, I did go quite slow. My lathe was in back gear, and let's have a look at how fast we're going. The feed rate would have been 17 thousandths per minute. So, yeah, very, very slow, but you know, this was the first try with the real thing, and I had to know if it was working out the way it was supposed to. And it is, even better than I expected. So I guess the other thing I could do is check for thickness on this, but then that's relative to me actually setting things square. And in this case, I believe it did. Now in the past, using these kind of things, if you don't use oil, it's pretty well a death sentence. The other thing is if you don't set it square, again, death sentence. So there are limitations to what these type of cutters can do. Anyway, I hope you liked this video. Please like and subscribe and shoot me a comment. Always love to hear from you. And by the way, the other cutting tool, it's going to be heading out and making its way to Stuart the Harrow. There you go, buddy. Promise kept. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.